On Friday, March 13th, Congressman Eric Burlison, Republican representative of the 7th District of Missouri, appeared in an interview with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell on their podcast Weaponized to discuss his progress on the topic of UFO/UAP disclosure. The main topic of the interview revolved around Burlison's recent visit to a facility that insiders associate with reverse engineering of UFO technology. Rumors circulate it was Pax River, but Burlison does not confirm this. He states he cannot publicly disclose the exact location for investigative reasons, also to avoid jeopardizing visits to other sites. Burlison described the information he received as remarkable and admitted that he had to strain his brain to keep up with what was being said, especially regarding quantum physics. He stated that the individual he met there was extremely advanced in his intelligence. He was able to take away a great deal of interesting information. Burlison, who initially thought the topic was complete hotwash and that there was no such thing as non-human intelligence or aliens visiting us from another planet, now says he thinks differently. But now I am for sure and certain that there is a form of really advanced physics or an area of physics that we haven't seen, a level of technology that we do not have the capabilities of, and it's almost terrifying. He doesn't rule out the possibility that it could be advanced technology from the Chinese or others, but either way, the recent revelations he saw were an ontological shock. What is it that could shatter our worldview? What could be so dramatic that it impressed him so much? And will we ever know? Furthermore, Corbell asked him in this interview about a rumor that this facility was worth $10 million, to which he only remarked with a smile that, based on what he saw there, he had the impression that the hangar door alone was worth that much, and that this amount was, in his perception, a vast understatement. What shouldn't be forgotten in all of this is that Burlison's visit was known in advance, and thus there was an opportunity to relocate or destroy evidence, which has definitely and demonstrably happened several times in the past.
So when I was a younger agent, one of my jobs was to go to a particular military base where they had all the old archives of classified reports back to Korean War, Vietnam. And there was this huge archive in the basement of a particular office on Fort Meade, I won't say where it is, where the Army and some other elements kept all their old historical reports, intelligence reports, talking to sources. So the Army decided, okay, anything over 25 years old, unless it's obvious we need to keep it, we want you to shred it. And so one of my jobs was to go in to this place, into this huge room, and go through file after file after file, and shred stuff. It's too much. You have room after room after room of file cabinet after file cabinet of classified information that's 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 years old.
Shred it. However, he stated that he didn't believe these individuals he met there would lie to him or use him to spread disinformation. He stated that while current employees indicated this location was no longer used for reverse engineering, it was nevertheless an important place to gain insights into the subject. A perfect place to reverse engineer UFOs/UAPs, according to Erickson. Just think about what Burlison revealed here. A man in his position and with his credibility. I really hope he will follow up on his announcement to make everything public at the end. In collaboration with David Grush, who testified on these topics before the Congress in 2023 and whom Burlison considers absolutely trustworthy, as well as other insiders, Burlison has built up an extensive team that has taken root deep in classified projects. Although he states in this interview that he only invests about 2% of his total workload in the UFO topic, he is deeply involved and has appeared in many interviews recently. For some time now, he has been a strong advocate initiating investigations into non-human intelligence and the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology. Alongside representatives like Marco Rubio, Kirsten Gillibrand, Chuck Schumer, Mike Gallagher, and Raja Krishnamurti in the House of Representatives, he is one of the most vocal proponents of this topic, one of the representatives who devotes considerable attention to this issue. Furthermore, he received the go-ahead from U.S. President Donald Trump to invest more resources in this area. Donald Trump announced the declassification of UFO and alien files on February 19, 2026, in a post on his platform Truth Social. He was responding to statements made by former President Barack Obama in a podcast, in which Obama had spoken about the existence of extraterrestrials and unexplained flight maneuvers. Trump then accused Obama of treason and said that he would probably have to declassify some files to help Obama out of a tight spot. Due to the enormous public interest, Trump instructed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, along with other departments and intelligence agencies, to identify relevant material and prepare it for release. The order includes government documents on UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and other related information, which Trump described as highly complex matters. However, these statements should be treated with caution, as this would not be the first time Trump has announced declassification and then nothing has happened. Toward the end of his first term, Trump signed a package that set a deadline for intelligence agencies to submit a report to Congress on unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. This led to the release of the first major report in June 2021. Why the current announcement is different. While he previously often spoke of an openness to disclosures, the order dated February 19, 2026, is a direct and formal directive to the Pentagon under Pete Hegseth. According to Burlison, this has really lit a fire in several departments, such as the Department of War and the intelligence community. These departments also have a higher authority, namely the ODNI, which directs and coordinates all 17 U.S. intelligence agencies and is headed by Tulsi Gabbard. This agency must now allocate time for certain employees to research this complex issue alongside their regular duties. When Jeremy Corbell asked whether he trusted the ODNI and believed they were honest, he declined to answer, so as not to jeopardize any existing relationships. However, he clearly stated that he has a general skepticism toward the government. Asked about his next steps in the disclosure process, he stated he wrote a letter, signed by him and many other members of Congress, to recite what the President Trump said and to ask for disclosure to members of Congress. Further, he gave them a list of files he became aware of with names and the dates. Whom he refers to as them wasn't made really clear, but I assume he's referring to the Trump administration. He made clear that he got people to monitor these files to see if something happens to them, whether they are deleted or changed or whatever. He states that they were given to him from journalists and the UAP Disclosure Fund. He briefly expresses his opinion that a directive alone is insufficient, and that he believes an executive order is necessary to make serious progress on the issue of disclosure. Mentions conversations with members of the Trump administration in which he learned that we may see an executive order coming out. He thinks that they just don't yet know what to say or what specifically they want to include. So let's hope Burlison stays the happy warrior he claims to be and won't let the issue go from Congress. It has been publicly stated on several occasions that there are members of Congress who are actively trying to make the entire issue disappear from public view under the guise of national security. It is obvious that there are intensive efforts underway to sweep this issue under the rug or to steer the information in a different and false direction. Needless to say, we need these warriors. Please comment what you think and if you believe disclosure will come. For my part, don't lose hope, but I am not very convinced that full disclosure will come soon. I think they will go ahead with their breadcrumbing strategy, feeding us small pieces here and there, especially after decades of lies. But like I said, I have hope because hope is always what dies last. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up.